beautiful souls. I'm Awakened Soul, and today we're going to be looking at Bitcoin as I made a beautiful move to the upside and setting it up for our next trade, right? So the first thing is starting off on our monthly, right? I always start off with this beautiful trend line of a one touch, two touches here. And I do want you to know that I do use the index chart under the log scale, okay? So just based on this one touch, two touch trend line, we could observe price action above 1226 EMA and breaking support, and now it looks like we're retesting, right? So let's go ahead and find that target. And just like I have a support, we're gonna have a resistance, right? One touch, two touches, and we don't focus on the live candle, we have to focus on the previous high. Okay, so just really brief, what's our bullish, what's our bearish target, right? This will be our bearish target, and this will be your bullish target. 29, around, I would say 28. Yeah, 29 and 12K, right? Always have to be prepared for both scenarios as a technical analyst. Let's go ahead and highlight them really quick so we know those are targets, because by the time we're done, we always have a nice techno party going on here. Now we're gonna go, before I go to my weekly, because I am a day trader, I'm gonna focus on my range. What's my range? It's my previous candle, okay? So this was my monthly range, and as we can see, price action is above it, right? So I'm gonna consider the next monthly high, and we had crossed that, so I have to go to the next monthly high. So this is my next monthly high. Okay, beautiful. I'm gonna go to the weekly. Okay, on the weekly right here, we're gonna set our range, previous candle, right? And the weekly are orange. I use the chakra colors, and I hope you're having a beautiful day. I hope you have a beautiful weekend. So back to this monthly trend line, guys. Check this out. So, you know, I trade with the flow, always go with the flow. And nothing has changed on my TA in regards to my setup. And it's important to understand this, for me, trend line. I don't know, I have having a little thought about, and I shared it with my community, of this retesting this trend line would be the high around 36, around there, 37. Imagine that, and then rolling to the downside. You need to understand every bull's pump is going to come with the bear's retrace. So for you to jump in here and, you know, it's, as a day trader, it's not smart, right? You have to have your setup. But anyhow, on our weekly time frame, I'm going to turn on higher high, lower lows, and that's going to help me find something in regards to a pattern. What is our contraction phase doing? What do we see? Connecting just basic trend lines could help us out. Like this right here, this to here. Right, that could have been a nice neckline, nice resistance that we're testing right now. Okay, what else do we see? Then we have one touch, two touches. So this is like a channel rising wedge that I'm seeing off the bat. Right, it could be similar to this or something like this. What about that? Right, and my thing is, I'm always looking for the bigger picture, right? This is our contraction phase. This is our contraction phase. So within this contraction, what is the pattern doing, right? It's important to understand it. So all I see right now is a possible rising wedge, and so I'm going to keep my weekly this right with my range. I'm going to go to the daily. Within the daily, I want you to make acknowledge this high that has been printed here, right? This higher high, lower low indicator has been a great indicator for me. It helps me identify the highs, the lows, and as we know, price market works in a beautiful structure of highs and lows. So printing this high, what's the next move? We're gonna have to get a higher low, guys. You know, this is just not gonna go to the moon by itself. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. We could definitely keep moving up with, you know, like I would say 33. and even the retrace would be about 37, right? So something to consider on my daily. What am I going to do? My range again, okay? So what's my range? It's going to be the previous candle, remember? So this is my low, and my dailies are orange and yellow. This is my high. So with this being my daily range, this is going to be major support right here because price action is above it. So I want price action to be below it. Give me confidence to short the market. So I'm obviously looking for a short. I mean, the RSI is out the window. You know, the RSI doesn't even count no more because it's so oversold that they could keep pumping it. It doesn't matter. RSIs are good for like sideways action of like oversold, overbought. But when you have a squeeze like this, there's no point on looking at the RSI in my perspective. What I do want to check is this relative strength volatility bands that I love to use. So this indicator, right, gave me a heads up earlier on in regards to this strong squeeze momentum. But one thing that I've noticed, as you can see the bands, it's coming down, it's going up on the daily, right? Huge pressure there. So I like to use this just to identify if the squeeze is done, and to identify if we still have more momentum to the upside. Good visual. Okay, so we were in my daily. I got my range. After the daily, I go into the 4 hours, right? 4 hours. Okay, so this is my daily support, correct? This is my weekly. Now it's resistance. So see how you identify the trend lines by color coordination. This is our monthly, this is our daily support too. But it's important because we just are under the weekly, right? And we're above the daily. So in my 4 hours, if you know my strategy when I trade, is based on a trend line break, based on support, resistance levels, and based on 1226 EMAs cross. Okay, those are my 1226 EMAs. So in the 4 hours, because I am looking for a short, I want this support to break off the bat. So this would be my major trend line. This would be my support, the daily. So once I get confluence and then I start seeing the 1226 EMAs kind of flip, right? You're going to start flipping and they're going to become bearish, right? It doesn't matter to get the wick. What matters is to be on the right side, and then we're gonna short. That's the plan. As everywhere and retail, and all of a sudden all the bulls are coming out like I told you it's going up. It's like, okay, but then you have 2 months of down movement or they don't show their faces. It's hilarious to me. But yeah, you know, some just don't show their faces at all. And people still trust them. That's hilarious to me. But anyways. Okay. So back to our 4 hours. So what are our expectations based on our monthly, on our weekly, on our daily, right? So my expectations, like I said, it's that rising wedge, that possible weekly rising wedge. So this is my weekly rising wedge, the top of it. So I'm going to highlight it, and I am going to put a tag here so I know what's going on. I'm just gonna put weekly rising wedge target. Okay, and this is our monthly trend line. Remember that monthly trend line that I could see a possible retrace that is coming all the way from down here, right? We have to kind of label that too, just so we know and we don't get lost. So this is our rising wedge. This is our monthly possible retrace. Our monthly retrace, okay. So those are my possible next bullish targets, okay. And I'll get some targets here for you. So I marked the weekly rising wedge And my monthly retrace target is gonna be 38. Beautiful. We are finally, okay, so I'm in my 4. I came down. Okay, so I was in my 4 hours. Okay. So I didn't mark my range with my 4 hours. I just set a trend line here. I'm gonna set a trend line here, and it's probably bearish, right? But like I said, when you have momentum like this, looking at the RSIs, it's kind of irrelevant because they could just keep pushing it up. Of course, we have bearish divergence, but we've had bearish divergence for days now. We've had bearish divergence since the time over here. And what do? They just keep pumping it up. So something to consider, okay? So we do have bearish divergence, but again, I will not take a trade, or I would not enter a short till my trend line, my 4-hour trend line is broken, and my support. How do I find my support? My support's always touching my trend line, and using my pivot highs and lows is going to give me my next support. So off the bat, this is the last touch right here, right? Based on my trend line, my 1 touch, 2 touch, 4-hour trend line. So my support's going to be right here, right now. This is my 4-hour support. So for me to enter a short and be confident, I want trend line and this support to break. Okay, big support in my eyes. And even though we're having a small retrace to the downside, right? Understanding market structure, understanding how the market moves in general. It could come here, kind of coil up, and then continue to the upside, right? So what I want to see is just a complete breakdown to the downside. If that doesn't happen right now and we continue to the upside, it's okay. We could play, if you're a scalper, if you're a good scalper, day trader, you most definitely could play along. Where's my weekly? Oh, monthly. Because like I said, what's not for it to, I mean, this could keep going to our monthly retrace, weekly retrace. So you still want to take advantage of a long if it's going to play out. So for me to take a long, just like we did here, and if you're not following me on Twitter, go ahead and follow me. I am Awakened Soul 36_369. And I do share my setups. I'm the queen of charts. Where was it? So I'm funny. I think I'm hilarious, actually. So this was the last setup that I posted, 14 hours. It was simple. This is your range. It's going to go up or it's going to go down, right? And that's how crypto works, and that's how this game works in general. So know how to chart. Follow me at awakensoul_369, and that's what I do. I help others learn how to chart, because when you come in, right, just like this, we had a beautiful flag that played out here, right? And it broke to the upside. So what's going to happen here? This trend up, right? What's not to say we have another beautiful contraction phase here. So be patient. No need to rush into anything. This will be our next zone. Allow it to play. Allow it to do its thing. Most likely it's going to come in here, you know, have its beautiful contraction phase. And then when you see a break, just like we did here, we could swing up or get ready to short. Right, so that's your next setup. Those are my targets. So I do have your weekly and your monthly target right there. If we roll down here, if we roll, right, what's our target? What's our short? Me personally, because I think this is all part of the programming, and it's all what they want. They want people to trap people and for them to invest their money and get stuck in cryptocurrency. If I get confirmation to short, I'm going to hold it as long as I can. I'm going to be actually looking for a retrace of this monthly trend line. This would be my first target. We never got a retrace. We just had a pump up. So if this is a true continuation to the upside, we need it to retrace and then continue up, right? Market structure, okay? And then I will believe it. And this is where I want to enter my longs if we hold here. All right, I hope that made sense. I hope you learned something. Please ask me anything. I could chart any coin you want. Leave comments and let me know, and may the force be with you, and enjoy the weekend.